Hi everyone, thank you for joining me on another episode on Sunnylanka, and I'm your host Priya. As most of you know, Sri Lanka is the Emerald Isle, very rich in its seafood as it's in plenty. So today I'm bringing a dish that is found all over Sri Lanka with slight variations in each region, and we'll be making the basic fish curry Sri Lankan style. Here are the ingredients. 1 piece of rampa, 2 pieces of lemongrass or sera, and a few curry leaves. A quarter teaspoon of mustard seed, 2 pods of cardamom, 1 clove and a half-inch piece of cinnamon that's broken up, with 2 to 3 pieces of gorica or gamboge. 1/3 cup of coconut cream. I'm using spices: a quarter teaspoon of turmeric powder, 1 teaspoon of fenugreek powder, 3 to 4 cloves of garlic roughly chopped, and 1 teaspoon of coriander powder. For my chili, I've mixed in 1 teaspoon of chili powder with 3 teaspoons of paprika, and that is because my chili powder is very hot, but you can use 2 tablespoons of chili powder. 1 small onion chopped, but red shallots are the best and they can be dropped in whole. Salt to taste, and of course the star of the dish, 1 whole fish cut into serving sizes, and I'm using mullet, but any firm fish will do. So let's get started.
Okay, so let's get started. I'm using a clay pot. You can use a heavy bottom pot if you don't have one. Just a little bit of oil, about a tablespoon. Wait for the oil to heat up. And I have here on this little tray everything ready to go. So it's my cinnamon cloves, garlic, cinnamon cloves and cardamom, my mustard seeds, and the um, gorica. I'm going to be putting all of those in together. Okay, so the oil is hot enough now, so we can drop in the mustard and all the cinnamon, clove, cardamom, and the gorica. I'm going to add in my curry leaves, lemongrass, and rumpa or pandan leaf. I have the flame on a medium, and almost right after you can add in your onions, chopped onions. And I just want to soften the onion, not brown it. I'm going to add in my garlic. Depending on the fish that you use, some of them can be, the skin can be slightly oily, and so you don't need a lot of oil for your curry. Okay, then I added my fenugreek seeds. Somehow fenugreek always complements seafood of all kinds. We always tend to add fenugreek to seafood dishes, and it's healthy for you too. So now you can, the onions have softened up, you can add in the dry spices, turmeric, coriander, and the chili. There we go. Dry roast them just a bit to take out the raw taste in the powders or the, and don't let them burn. That's why it's important to have it on a medium heat. Okay. When you get a nice color and everything is dried up, then you can add in the fish with its water. Okay. I get the fish cleaned and cut at the supermarket. And we cook the whole fish, but I am saving a few pieces today because my kids like fish fry as well. So a few of the pieces I'll be making fish fry. So that'll be the next recipe that you'll see. So there. Once the fish is in, it'll cook fast, so you don't want to play with it too much. It'll start to break. So I'm just trying to layer it so that each of those pieces will be heated up evenly. And then after that, I don't really want to touch it. And in Sri Lanka, in Colombo, seafood is plenty. It's there everywhere. You get fresh seafood literally off the boat, and it tastes so much better than if you were having it you know, a day frozen, well, even transported, you know, if it's not frozen. And then when it's frozen fish, you really don't know what you're getting. But I loved the seafood in Sri Lanka. It was delicious. I'm adding in my salt to taste. I'll test it later again to make sure that salt is fine. Okay, so now, still on medium heat, I'm going to let it come to a boil. Actually, I'm going to bring it up to a high heat and let it come up to a boil, and then I will cover it and drop it down to a simmer and let it thicken and cook all the way through. Okay, so now it's come up to a boil, and without upsetting the fish too much, I'm just going to make sure that all the fish is submerged in the gravy before I put a lid on it and let it cook all the way through. So yeah, if you're going to turn the fish, be very, very gentle with it, because you don't want pieces of broken fish. It won't look as appetizing, I guess. There's that. Covering it and dropping the heat down. Okay, so once it's been around 10 minutes, you know the fish is cooked. I'm going to take the lid off of it. Taking the lid off, and gently just give the whole curry a slight stir. So now the fish is all cooked through and the oil has started to come up on the top. At this point, you can add in your thick coconut milk, 1/3 cup. And just give that a very gentle stir, just to incorporate the coconut milk. And what this will do is thicken the curry and also add a wonderful taste to the dish. So I'm gonna let it heat through for maybe another 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, it's been about 3 minutes now, so I'm turning off the heat, and then I can't dish it out. This is the thing with fish curry, is that you want to let it sit and absorb all the flavor, because otherwise the fish will just taste boiled, I guess. So I've turned off the heat. I'm going to put the cover back on, and I will let it sit in the clay pot until it's time for us to have our lunch. So ideally you don't want to take it from the stove to the table. You want it to rest a little bit and absorb all the flavor of the spices, the gravy, and cooking in a clay pot does definitely add an extra flavor to the dish. So if you do have one, definitely use a clay pot. So that's it, folks. So there you go, folks. Today's dish, Sri Lankan fish curry. And I hope you will try it and enjoy it. And if you haven't already done so, don't forget to subscribe. And if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and until next time, Ayubowan.